Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Games XP Champion Series. We have tonight for you a Week 1 matchup with White Lotus Gaming is going to be taking on Elyon Gaming. We're going to go ahead and get started soon, so let's take a look at the roster rundowns. For White Lotus, we have Fresh Burger will be in the top lane. Kairos will be playing jungle. Fuji is going to be in the mid lane. Ethereal will be at AD carry, and Daydreams will be the support. Taking them on is Elyon Gaming. They have Tedious Sky in the top lane. Hottie Williams will be playing jungle. Jerd is in the mid lane. Sneaky is the AD carry, and Smoothie will be the support here as we get into champion select here. Let's see what we have going on. What do you think we should see from bans from these guys?
I'm looking for a lot of. It's very interesting. I believe these teams they're familiar. They're both very structured. These teams are both coming from previously existing teams, so they have compositions set already, so they know what they're looking to play with each other. But if they're looking to break apart the other teams and they're sort of looking to take away those synergy champions, like you have the Rakan, just sort of a very nice setup for any team composition to start off and initiate something like that. You'll see the junglers that are early. You see maybe the Jarvan picks go through, or something like that to go through the bans. Just generally good champions that you are able to make solid plays off of, because these are both very coordinated teams. They've been around for a while. They'll definitely be able to play off of each other very well.
Yeah, we see the Rakan coming banned away on the side of White Lotus. Elyon decides to take away that Vladimir. Vladimir has been a strong pick as of lately. He's kind of a champion that you can see in any role. They'll flex him either top, mid, or even in the carry position bot nowadays. You talked about the teams being put together. We have White Lotus. They're 1-0 on the season. They won their first Week 1 matchup, looking to get that 2-0 Week 1 start. Elyon Gaming dropped the first game to full send, but they are Season 2 champions in this league. So both teams are definitely going to be looking to get off to a hot start here. We see the brand banned away. Next.
It looks like they're trying to take away a lot of power from the support role. They're trying to sort of limit Smoothie's options here, so he's not able to be the playmaker on Rakan, not able to control the tempo of bot lane with that brand pick. We may even see another support ban come out here. Maybe it's interesting to see the Aatrox go down on the side of Elyon Gaming.
Yeah, the Aatrox has been a power pick now. Another champion that we've been seeing kind of in multiple roles. He has been top. We've even seen him in the mid lane a little bit during these last couple patches. Nocturne banned away, White Lotus. A Nocturne's another good champion, strong power pick as of lately.
Yeah, so it's another thing with Nocturne. You get a lot of power to control and start off these team fights. Nocturne not even visible to the enemy team. You can sort of coordinate with the team. Hey, I'm going to drop the ultimate and we're all going to converge at this target and keep them sort of off guard. So taking away that pick is another nice power move on the side of White Lotus. So as the Lulu comes out on the side of Elyon Gaming, they're looking for, again, more of the sort of disabling that ability to shut down a champion. Has a lot of power in a composition, and Lulu is very versatile for the pick. And we're going to see the Kindred come through for White Lotus.
Yeah, they take away that Nocturne. I think Kindred is considered one of those other top tier champions. She's going to provide that range matchup. She's been really strong the last couple patches. I know they kind of hit her a little bit on this most recent patch, but she's definitely a strong force to be reckoned with in the jungle. And Tedious Sky decides to lock in the Braum, prioritizing that support role that we see White Lotus was kind of banning away.
Yeah, it's interesting. They go away from the Rakan and the brand picks, and you go for the Braum, and you still get a lot of what you're looking for from the support and that Smoothie likes to play, those sort of playmaking supports. The Braum has the ability to set up the ultimate, cancel out a lot of that range damage with the Unbreakable, and has the ability to sort of beef up another champion to stand behind me, especially with the Lucian pick. Lucian Braum is a very, very, not contested, a weathered bot lane. Lucian Braum has been a very popular pick since around Lucian's first time that he was a very strong pick, and around Braum's inception to just sort of work very well with Braum's concussive blows passive and Lucian's ability to very quickly slide into fights and skirmishes and get a lot of auto attacks off in a short amount of time.
Yeah, so you see White Lotus, they prioritize their jungler pick with the Kindred. Elyon decided to come back and draft a pretty strong bot lane. As you mentioned, that Braum Lucian has always been known as a pretty strong combination, a bully combo in the bot lane here. The response from White Lotus is to go ahead and grab the Taric Varus, have some very good layered CC down in the bot lane, and we do see the jungle for Elyon come in through the Xin Zhao. So both teams already drafted their bot lanes and their junglers, so we'll see what they decide to pinch away from either the top lanes or the mid laners.
Yeah, so you see, just these first 3 picks, you see a lot of very interesting, the dynamic between both of these teams. You see the ability to layer on the crowd control with the Varus ultimate, but on top of that, there's the power of the Taric Kindred combo. The Taric ultimate leading into the Kindred ultimate, just absolutely ensuring the life of your team for an extended period of time. This allows them to really contrast what Elyon Gaming has gone for here. You have so much engage and instant access to damage with the Lucian, the Braum ultimate, the Xin Zhao engage. They have a lot of damage that's coming right in your face, and you have to answer it immediately. And White Lotus is looking to answer that damage with these ultimates and these crowd control abilities that will keep them alive and sustaining through the fight to sort of last out their skills and outlast them.
Yeah, we see the Swain band, Elyon Gaming taking away that strong kind of, it's just like a beefy mid laner, almost like a pseudo tank, but he's able to pump out so much damage. I think that's a dangerous combo when you add Taric and Kindred, so they went ahead and took that away. They took away the Darius as well. He's considered probably the best bruiser in the top lane at the moment. If they're not going to go tanks, then that's kind of the way to go, is the Darius. White Lotus decides to take away Zoe and LeBlanc. They don't want Jerd to be able to just pick off people and blow people up. So we'll see what they end up drafting here to round out their compositions.
Yeah, I was going to say, both of the sides of bands sort of play a lot to the compositions we were talking about. You see the Taric able to, and the Kindred keeping these beefy tanks alive. They don't want that on their side, but at the same time, White Lotus isn't looking to get burst down before they can even get buttons happening in a fight, so they have to remove the LeBlanc and the Zoe. They're very instant burst damage threats. And they're going to go with the Mundo on the side of Elyon Gaming.
Yeah, Mundo we've seen recently too as well, becoming one of those top tier tanks in the top lane. Quite simply, he just becomes unkillable at some point in the game. He's a very safe laner, so you're not going to be able to kill him that often. The response to the Mundo is the Ornn. He's a traditionally strong tank in that top lane as well. You see him, his ability Call of the Forge God is extraordinarily good to engage these fights or even disengage these fights. So we'll have a little bit of a tank versus tank matchup in the top lane.
It's very interesting. The Ornn definitely playing very well to the composition. Now they have, on top of having the defensive crowd control abilities, they have now a very well-rounded engage, especially the Orianna. The Orianna gives the Ornn a lot of ability to start a fight, and on top of his own ultimate for Ornn to make a sort of melee range engage and follow up with the Orianna ball. They have a lot of far-reaching crowd control, as well as once the fight starts and they get sort of in the fray with Elyon Gaming's team, they're really able to control the pace of the fight on both the melee and range terrain.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on Smoothie this game on that Braum. That shield's going to be able to block a lot of the abilities from White Lotus. They'll be able to block the Call of the Forge God, the Ori Ball from getting in there, even the chains from Varus. So a lot of pressure is going to be on Smoothie to kind of keep his team out of these big abilities that we're going to see on the side of White Lotus.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're going to see a lot. The Xerath pick, I think, is very interesting on the side of Elyon Gaming, and especially if we're looking for Smoothie to block a lot of these Call of the Forge Gods, and it's going to be that much more difficult for White Lotus to find a solid engage all the way back on Jerd, because there's such a very heavy front line here on the side of Elyon Gaming. You have the Braum, you have the Mundo, you even have Xin Zhao diving on people. You have so many threats that you both have to answer and can't exactly get past, because not a lot of the champions on the side of White Lotus are very extremely burst damage oriented. Like Orianna, of course, has her innate skill combo, but none of those are going to be getting through the Braum, the Mundo, even the Xin Zhao if he goes for the tankier build. So getting to Jerd is going to be an issue for the side of White Lotus Gaming if they're not utilizing this Call of the Forge Gods, getting past the Unbreakable. That's definitely going to be a very threatening position for them to get back to the Xerath while they're trying to fight off these very beefy front lines that are entering them.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be so it's basically going to be Jerd being able to stay back behind his front line and apply some damage. Interestingly enough, though, you're going to have Lucian that's going to be kind of like the in your face AD carry there. Um, so that's definitely going to be. We're going to keep our eye out on Jerd, seeing how much damage he can pump up and see how safe he can play in this game here. On the side of White Lotus, it looks like they're going to be going for engage team fights here. The Varus is a strong engage tool, Call of the Forge God, followed up by the Orianna Shockwave. And then you have the Kindred and the Varus damage to kind of clean that up there. So it seems like they'll be looking definitely to start these fights and try to get these guys picked off.
Right, it's nice because you look at the side of Elyon Gaming, and you have for their engage, you have a lot of it is going to be on Smoothie. He's both got the responsibility of having one of the better engage spells for his team off the Braum ultimate. As you have Huddy Williams, of course, he has the ability to dive when the Zin's out, knock people aside with a Crescent Sweep, but it's not as effective as sort of the enter a fight and go for the knock up engage from Braum. So it's important that Smoothie has himself. But the nice thing about White Lotus's comp is you have that ability. So many different champions on White Lotus have the ability to start an individual fight. You have the power of that Orianna Shockwave. You have the Chain of Corruption on the Varus. You have the Call of the Forge God. There's so many different answers that Elyon Gaming needs to have to White Lotus's multitude of engages that you can't really just focus on one champion and say, oh, the Call of the Forge God is coming. Just answer that with Unbreakable, because then you have to worry about the Shockwave coming afterwards. There's such a multi-layer of crowd control that White Lotus has to initiate fights with, that it's definitely going to be a focus of Elyon Gaming is to make sure they're either controlling the pace of these fights and engaging on their terms, or they're able to handle these multiple threats, because otherwise they're going to have too many skills to deal with. They're going to get locked down by the Chain of Corruption. Kindred's going to be able to find people on the sort of in between this front and back line, and they're going to have to worry about even getting through the Kindred and Tarek ultimate afterwards. So they have to find fights on their terms for Elyon Gaming here with the limited tools they have.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely an interesting matchup to see. It's going to be quite exciting. We're going to take a small break here and hear a word from our advertisers. While we do that, go ahead and get your bets placed in the chat for Game 1 of White Lotus versus Elyon Gaming.
My name is Tim Borseth, and I own and operate Games XP in Decorah, Iowa. Games XP is a geek paradise. We carry everything from Pong and Atari all the way to Xbox One and PS4, and all the games that would go with those consoles as well. We also carry a ton of movies. We have handheld games. We have Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. We have D&D and Pathfinder. We carry Warhammer 40K. We have a vintage Star Wars selection. This place is great. My wife and I have had 6 kids, and they are so much fun to work with here at the store. They run the store as much as I do.
And we now repair cell phones, game consoles, computers, and small electronics.
Our store is instant fun. Not only is there cool music and cool stuff to look at, but we have a game room that is so much fun. It's free to play, and you just plug in your game system and enjoy life. The Game XP motto is bringing joy to people's lives through our products, people, and a place to play. So you have got to come to Decorah, Iowa, and check out Games XP and experience this geek gaming paradise.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift, our game 1 between White Lotus and Elyon Gaming here, as the players get loaded on and start up their initial plays. Level 1, we see the red side pinging in towards invading that tri-bush of White Lotus, but it looks like White Lotus is trying to stack there, so we might see some early action right here, right off the bat.
Bodies stacking on top of bodies. This looks like it's going to get heated.
We always like a level 1 fight here. Oh no. Hottie Williams is going to walk right into the stun there, get taken out immediately. Tarek ends up picking the kill, flashes away from Smoothie and Jerd. The Ignite comes down. He lives with just a little bit of health there. Tedious Sky's the next target they're chasing after. It looks like he might be able to get away. The flash by way. Daydreams, the flash over the wall from the Mundo is going to save his life. So some early action. First blood goes over to Tarek on the side of White Lotus. We have flashes burned across the board essentially by Smoothie, Jerd, and Tedious Sky, and we have the flash and ignite down for Daydream. So action right off the bat is what we like to see.
Elyon Gaming definitely, they underestimated the power of that Tarek. The Dazzle, I believe that Dazzle actually hit all 5 of them. They were lined up to start something in that bush, and just you saw the line just absolutely drop so much days on top of all of them that Hottie Williams didn't even get a chance to answer before he was taken out by all 5 of the members at the same time. The power of that stun, I believe it's a 1.2 or 1.4 second stun duration at level 1 is just absolutely clean through the rest of the team, and the rest of the fight was hardly Elyon Gaming able to walk on the back pedal out there.
Oh yeah, he got blown up so fast. The Zinzao didn't even stand a chance. He was gone within like 2 seconds, but an excellent stun from Daydreams, and it's going to go ahead and give White Lotus an early advantage here. We do see the jungler starting to path down here. The mark is going to start right on that bot side scuttle, and it looks like Hottie Williams is going to be able to take that away from the Kindred.
Yeah, I think the very interesting thing here is it gave so much power to all the sides. Everyone on White Lotus was able to make a little bit there. You see Daydream being able to pick up the boots. And you can see, interestingly enough, Ethereal decided to go for the Corrupting Potion and start in the Varus.
Yeah, I noticed that he is taking Comet here, so that leads me to believe that he's going to go for a more lethality-based poke champion. We do see an invade onto, or a gank in the mid lane. Hottie Williams gets that third knock-up, and that's going to be a dead Orianna. Fuji goes down, the kill goes over to Hottie Williams, and we do have a 1-1 game now.
Very nicely done. Hottie Williams with the presence of mind to wait out that Orianna flash so he could follow up with the Audacious Charge and not even have to spend his own flash there.
Yeah, interesting path on the side of Hottie Williams. It looks like he took his red buff, and then he went down and got the Scuttle Crab. His blue buff's still up, unless I missed something and they took it. But an interesting path. He does end up getting that Scuttle Crab and takes that mark away from Kindred and gets the first initial gank off on the Orianna mid. So he is pathing down towards his blue buff now.
Yeah, Stuff's going to do a nice job. Like we were talked about earlier, we're going to see them trying to set up Jerd early, and if Fuji's going to step up and make these early ganks possible, then we're going to see Jerd pull ahead on these assists, get his items a little bit early, and try to get himself spiked up in damage. Even if the team has fallen a little bit, Hottie Williams even finding himself the first death, but he's still able to pick himself back up, find that kill, get him footing back up.
Yeah, and we do see a 10 CS lead already coming in that top lane. The Ornn just kind of bullying out the Mundo. The thing with Ornn is he can, he runs low on mana. His passive lets him buy a mana crystal and continue to stay in lane. He has so much to stay in lane, and he's really punishing this Mundo early.
Yeah, I would say it's very interesting, the dynamic of looking at a lane fight with Mundo. You typically see the champions will spend all of their mana to get.
Hottie Williams does go with the follow-up gank to stun. The cleanse over from Fuji. He goes really low. Hottie Williams goes low to the turret shot, and Fuji barely lives with his life. Loses the cleanse, and we do see a solo kill on that Ornn from Mundo here. So the top lane is going to start to be a big advantage for White Lotus, and we do see Orianna survive that second gank from Hottie Williams now.
Fuji having very nice ability to got that cleanse almost instant as he found that stun landing on him. Very nicely timed to avoid taking any follow-up damage from Hottie Williams there.
Here comes Kairos. He goes for the gank in the mid lane. Jerd's able to sniff that out, hit the stun, and kind of stay safe here. kind of back off here. But I did talk to a few mid laners, and I've heard that Fuji is going to be a strong contender in this league. I heard he's going to be pretty good, so we'll keep an eye on him throughout this series and see what he's able to do.
I believe it definitely just the moves he's making in these lanes. We're gonna see a fight start here.
Yeah, we see a fight over the Scuttle Crab here. We get the stun over to Daydreams. He was going to go down. Smoothie picks up that kill, and what happens there is Elyon's just able to collapse on that Kindred, trying to pick up that stack in that Scuttle Crab. She does end up getting that Scuttle Crab, but it does cost over a kill on Daydreams.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's interesting. Kairos definitely working on getting himself powered up a little bit on the Kindred. He didn't go down, so he's not too worried about his own individual power spike. So he's working on scaling up that Kindred, and so the rest of their team is looking good when they have the Ornn, the Taric sort of tankiness for these fights. So if he's able to get himself ahead early, it's just as good for the composition of the team as they move to the mid game.
Yeah, and I would expect to see some action in this top lane very soon. Ornn has hit level 6. He finishes his Catalyst of Aeons here, so deciding to go towards that early Abyssal Mask more than likely. And like I said, he's going to have a lot of pressure on this Mundo right now until Mundo gets his ultimate up.
Yeah, let's say it's so pseudo-typical of the top laners that you see fighting Mundo. You see them just spend all of their mana on skills to try to take Mundo down, and he's regenning his passive very slowly with the Masochism passive that he has that just gradually regens his health over time. So once you spend all your resources, it's very easy for Mundo to sort of regenerate while you're manaless. But of course, Ornn has the ability to buy his items in lane, buy his mana regen, get the Catalyst early, so he's able to work himself into a much larger pool of mana, so he can spend a lot more time bullying out this Mundo. The dynamic changes a lot when Mundo has access to his ultimate. He gets such a gigantic amount of regeneration from his ultimate that it becomes difficult to not commit to a trade there, because he's just going to end up...
Very early dragon right now. Hottie Williams going extremely low. He's not going to be able to finish that off. The smite goes over to Kairos here. Hottie Williams goes down. They're looking for the fight. White Lotus flash in from the Taric. He followed up with a shockwave. Sneaky goes down. That's a double kill onto Ethereal here. And Smoothie is the next target. He is going to be able to walk away. Maybe not. And Fuji picks up that kill too. So a huge fight for the side of White Lotus. They get the Infernal Drake and 3 kills right there.
Fuji like a monster out here, absolutely running through that fight. Sent Hottie Williams to the dragon, forcing him to smite for the heal. Smite didn't take the dragon down, and it gave Kairos the perfect opportunity to step in and smite it out.
Yeah, and good awareness on the side of White Lotus. They sniffed out that early dragon play from Elyon, able to pick that dragon. Like I said, they're going to go ahead and get themselves a 2K gold lead at 8 minutes in the game right now.
It's very nice to see the rotations from the side of White Lotus. They saw Elyon Gaming sort of leaving from that bot lane, trying to convert the rest of their team up to the dragon and make something happen. And there was so much. Then you saw that's what we were talking about. The level 6 power spikes on the side of White Lotus. They have so many. There were so many different angles they had to watch out for. They had to watch out for the chain of corruption coming from the Varus down the side. They had to watch out for a setup for Fuji to set up a perfect shockwave. They couldn't really converge for their team fight because Hottie Williams was on a different side.
We do see Hottie Williams mid lane again. He's chasing after Fuji, but Kairos is there. He's waiting in the wings. There's the ultimate from the Zen to knock away. Kairos is going to be in trouble here. Lucian follows up. There goes the Lamb's Respite from Kindred. Sneaky ends up picking the kill up on Kairos. This fight's going to continue. Jerd is now here. Ethereal on a killing spree knocks out the Zins out there, and he's going to be very strong. The follow-up by the Daydreams. This fight's going to keep going. Shockwave misses on the side of Fuji here. Fuji ends up picking up the Xerath, and they're going for more again. One more auto will do it. Oh, and all members go extremely low here, and they might be looking for more.
I say Fuji just barely has the mana. Doesn't have the mana for a QW combo.
Oh my gosh. They're so low here. And they're going to take this opportunity just to push down this turret and get some damage. We do see the Zins out sneaking from behind. Fuji takes a turret shot, tries to cleanse, but gets picked off by Hottie Williams there. A little bit of a greedy play on the side of White Lotus there, and Fuji pays for it with his life.
Yeah, Fuji definitely looking like an opportunist in a lot of these fights. He's definitely trying to position himself to keep himself at a very, very high threat level to make sure everyone is aware that he has that ability to put the Orianna spells down in such a place that anybody that stands around them low will go down, but it definitely is working against him here.
Call the Forge God, and it looks like the Ornn's going to be able to pick up another solo kill in the top lane. So this Ornn, Fresh Burger, is just showing his dominance to Tedious Sky now. Now at 30, almost 30 CS and 2 kills. However, Elyon Gaming is going to respond by getting a ton of damage onto this first turret. They do end up picking up the first turret. Hottie Williams goes in on Fuji here, but Fuji's able to stay relatively alive. She's going to go ahead and go for the chase here, but Elyon Gaming is just going to back off.
Yeah, I was going to say, they still have to respect Fuji's damage output. She only has the Lost Chapter and the Blasting One, but it's still a significant amount of damage, and of course the Shockwave was available on Fuji. He was looking for another outlet.
And Hottie Williams just runs right into Kairos here. Has to blow his ultimate. One more auto. You do see Fuji kind of rotating up there. Kindred trying to stay away. Mundo's coming in, and Kindred's going to be able to escape through that Raptor, that Krug pit.
Hottie Williams definitely moving quick in that fight. Definitely didn't let Kairos get to him. Swept him away with a Crescent Sweep and was able to escape that fight. Jared just narrowly not finding the Q damage that he wanted to maybe follow up with the ultimate. He had it available, but didn't want to go for the chase. They didn't have enough vision to really set it up.
So at this point, we have almost a 3K gold lead on the side of White Lotus. As we look at the lane matchups currently, bot lane is 3 kills, but the CS is pretty much even here. Mid lane's going to have that nice gold lead on the Orianna, and Ornn has a massive lead on the Mundo right now. So what is Elyon thinking to do to try to kind of stop the bleeding, if you will?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a rough position for Elyon because this is what they were looking for. The engages on the side of White Lotus are going to be so strong here now. The threat of a very fed Ornn, called the Forge God, and a very strong Orianna Shockwave is what they're going to be looking at for these fights. They have to find a proper answer for them.
There's the Corrupting Chain onto Tedious Sky here. He's a big boy, though, so he's just able to pop his ult and kind of walk away from that engage.
Right, as strong as Ghostblade tier Varus is going to be looking like Ethereal, not really going to be able to run him down by himself, so they're going to have to walk that off. Tedious Sky, of course, burning the ultimate, but Moon Ultimate isn't a very reliable cooldown. They'll be more than likely out for the next engage.
Yeah, so we start seeing some first items coming out on the side of White Lotus. You do see the Abyssal Mask on the Ornn. The Yumu's Ghostblade is coming through for Varus, so he is going for that lethality build that we were kind of looking for here. Right. And Kindred goes with the Blood Razor enchantment on her Smite. So the early attack speed over the early damage is what she's looking for.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. You almost see White Lotus has sort of turned the comp around on Elyon Gaming. You sort of see Varus operating here as sort of a pseudo Xerath. He has that. It's sort of the old guard max piercing arrow, go for the mana build with the mana immune into lethality and just start firing arrows from a million miles away. Nobody can really reach you because they're dealing with your Ornn threat now, and they're trying to get to the Orianna because she does so much damage with her combo that you're not noticing the Varus in your backline sort of sniping down targets, and it's a lot harder for them to deal with on the same.
We do see 4 members of Elyon going up towards this Ornn here. He pops the Call of the Forge guy to try to disengage. Smoothie gets the Glacial Fissure out on him. The flash from Fresh Burger is going to get him out of here. Fuji is coming up for the defense here, so we might see a 2-on-4 fight. I think they'll be able to defend this turret here. Let's take a look and see what happens. The Rift Herald in response is going to go mid, so they're going to go ahead and give up that top turret and just get a huge push on this mid lane now.
Oh yeah, that mid tower is definitely going to go on. Interesting trade. Elyon Gaming definitely looking to try to do what they can to make early. And to answer your early question, that Elyon Gaming is definitely looking to sort of run down one of these lanes and find an ability.
Oh no, and the collapse comes through on the side of White Lotus. Here comes the Taric ultimate to keep them alive here. Hottie Williams is going to go very low here. He goes down to the arrow from Ethereal here. Mundo goes down from Kairos as well. Flash away from Smoothie here, so that's 2 kills for the side of White Lotus, and they're going to have their eyes set on this tier 2 mid turret.
Yeah, you see it. The damage just isn't there.
Oh, huge shockwave. Oh, and there goes Jerd. He just gets exploded from that Orianna, and that's a clean ace at 15 minutes for the side of White Lotus.
Absolutely, that is what they're looking for. That was the exact play that Fuji was looking for. They're looking to follow up from those fights and have something that Fuji can set up. Had the shockwave available, could just absolutely drop it on the center of Elyon Gaming's team as they're on the back pedal, finding that they don't have the damage in their composition that they were looking for, and that was what we were worried about. After they've had to dealt with the multiple engages from the side of White Lotus, will they have the damage to power through and answer these sort of bulkier after the Taric ultimate, after the Kindred ultimate? And those were used so early. The Taric ultimate was used, the Varus ultimate was used, and Fuji didn't have to use his ultimate. They were so committed to that fight after everything else that was spent that they didn't have the damage to compete. And it ended up working against them. And then Fuji reminded them, oh, by the way, I still have my ultimate after you've lost 2 of your members, so I'm just going to run through the rest of your team with what I've got now, because there's so many threats on this White Lotus side for them to deal with.
Yeah, and if we just take a look at the moment, look at the ward coverage for the side of White Lotus. They have 5 control wards in this dragon area. That has allowed them to go ahead and pick up 2 early Drakes, and they do not have to really worry about anything in that bottom side of the map. Here comes another fight. Adi Williams kind of goes overextended here. Call of the Forge God saving Fuji. Fuji's running away here. He's able to get a huge damage off with his combo. His command attack and command resonance just takes Smoothie down to half health. So Fuji is hitting like a truck right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, they definitely committed everything they could to try to remove Fuji from that fight. Even though Hadi Williams went incredibly low at the beginning of that fight, his goal was to get to Orianna and set Jerd up for the ultimate to try to pick her off at the start of the fight. She doesn't have any defensive tools, doesn't have a stopwatch, doesn't have an hourglass or anything to stop herself from going down to zero. So they're looking for the force of the Zen knockup to really get a follow-up there.
Here comes another attempt at a gange on the side of Ethereal. He does miss the corrupting chains, but they're going to go ahead and try to chase him down. Nothing happening, though. They just walk away from that engage, and we see kind of a reset for the side of both teams here.
Yeah, they're looking to sort of get the Taric stun off of the Ghostblade Bears to try to run into them, but Sneaky having a nice presence mind to drop the W into the ultimate to get the move speed from his own passive on the W to keep himself away from that stun, keep himself safe. Very nice moves. But it's looking, the gold lead is building really right now for White Lotus.
Yeah, you have
try to make this fight happen.
6.5K gold lead for White Lotus here. Only 17 minutes in the game, so we don't really have Baron's not an objective yet. So we're kind of at a lull in the fight, in the action here. There's not much for White Lotus to do. They're just kind of running around trying to find a pick in the jungle of Elyon.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're on the back pedal right now. The Elyon Gaming White Lotus has moved up 4-2 in the towers, and they have that freedom to roam around. We talked a little bit earlier about the vision that
This might be the pick that they were looking for. Smoothie steps up a bit too far. The nice knock-up combination from Freshburger, and Kairos ends up finishing him off as well. So that's the pick that we were talking about. They're going to go ahead and use that opportunity to try to get some damage onto this top tier 2. Will be their next objective. We do have Baron up in about 2 minutes, and the Drake that's spawning next is another Ocean. I'll call the Forge God. It hits Jerd on the backside there. A lot of damage comes through. Ethereal knocks him out as well. And here comes White Lotus Gaming just diving this inhibitor turret, and they are just so far ahead. They can kind of do whatever they want at this point.
Ethereal was absolutely pivotal to that fight. Just the damage that came down on Jerd was almost primarily the piercing arrow into the hail of arrows, and I believe that's actually just the 2 skills that straight up killed him as he was trying to retreat from that fight. You saw the arrow into the combat into the hail of arrows, and he disappeared from that fight. And then the chain of corruption on the Sneaky as he tried to escape in the back. It was absolutely immaculate play on Ethereal's part, in particular, as they looked at that team fight.
Yeah,
they are just running through towers. They have so much bulk now. Fresh Burger, on top of the bonus armor gained from Daydream's Bastion, the W pass from Terra, it's so easy for them to just go through these towers, take a few shots, and not really have to worry about anything.
Hadi Williams tries to set up a cheeky little death bush kind of play, but he's chunked out by, again, one Orianna combo. The Resonance and Command Attack just chunk him so hard, there's not much to do. We do see White Lotus looking for another engage, and there you talk about that piercing arrow again, just chunking Lucian down to half health. So Elyon Gaming is in a very tough spot here. They're down 10k gold. Baron is spawning in 30 seconds. We do have this additional Ocean Drake up here. So Elyon Gaming has their sights set on these 2 new objectives.
Yeah, this is a rough patch for Elyon Gaming. They're looking. It's interesting because you want to see the moves that they're making. You want to see if they can get past. And it's rough because both the engage and the sort of long fights are both in this favor of White Lotus's compositions here. They have even if they're able to sort of endure a Call of the Forge God or a Chain of Corruption finding somebody, they're just taking so much residual damage from these just poke skills. Piercing arrows are finding people and doing a significant amount of damage. Nobody can get close to Fuji's Orianna QW combo. There's so much that they have to answer before they can even say, we want to try a team fight. They're basically getting sieged down at this point, and they're losing towers one by one. They have to see if they can band together and try to make something happen here. It's rough.
Yeah, and it looks like they keep on trying to find these picks, but it seems like Elyon's just not on the same page here. It's going to be a tough game for them to come back on. So at this point in the game, they just need to try to get through these engages, try not to die and stop the bleeding. As we say that, though, Jerd goes down to the Orianna. Huge on the side of Fuji here. Hottie Williams going down. Kindred takes that kill here, and we're going to see the base blown wide open for White Lotus.
Yeah, the damage coming out of White Lotus at this point is way too much for Elyon Gaming to deal with this point. And ooh.
Oh, the piercing arrow
piercing
from
arrow.
Ethereal picks him off, and this might be game. They might just push for the end here.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're definitely looking to end the game here. They played their game. They definitely found the early fights they're looking for. The level 1 definitely helped them out. It set Ethereal and Daydreams a little bit ahead in that bot lane to get them the bit of experience advantage. Not worry about the level 2 engage from Sneaky and Smoothie. Very significant.
Yeah, and another pick for White Lotus. The damage from Orianna gets them through one combo. Shockwave ends up picking off Smoothie here. They don't decide to go for the end push here. Looks like they're going to go back reset. Top lane is pushing towards them, and they have Baron up, so we'll see them kind of play a little bit safe and not go for the risky play.
Right. So the question here that you want to think of, and I love Elyon Gaming, but if we want to look at it, this is the best of 3. So if we want to think, we want to look at what's going on here. You see these fights breaking out, and you see the damage that they have to deal with, the chip damage, and you have to think, what answers can we bring to deal with sort of the sort of layered out compositions that White Lotus is putting here. They have the powerful engage, they have sustained fighting, they have the ability to control the terms of the fight with a Kindred Taric ultimate. What do you do in the pick ban phase to answer a composition like this? Because this draft that came right here.
We do see the fight here. The Death Brush does go over. They end up picking up Daydreams here. Didn't have any vision there, and they kind of picked it off here. So Elyon might have a little bit of a chance here. They at least have an opportunity to stop the bleeding. They are kind of resetting here. Someone has to deal with that Ornn push. So nice pick on the side of Elyon Gaming.
Yeah, I say it's very nice. If they could have looked for a fight sort of immediately afterwards, because again, as we said, Fuji does.
Oh my gosh.
Fuji doesn't have a stasis passive available. There's no defensive tools beside the Kindred ultimate. So not having access to that Taric ultimate gives Elyon Gaming a sort of window of opportunity to maybe just throw everything at Fuji. You can throw Hottie Williams on top of him, get the knockup into the zero skills, maybe take Fuji out of the fight and say, we can maybe make a fight happen here without the Taric ultimate to really stop us from throwing our damage on you. But they're going to have to sort of back off because there's still so much siege available here. He's going to be looking on the side.
Yeah, Hottie Williams is going to have to go for the Desperation Baron steal here. He has him low. I think he went a bit too early there. Yeah, he's just going to get CC'd up and taken out. And it looks like White Lotus is just going to end up taking this Baron and look to push it into the game. Let's see the hero Bromq. Oh, no. He ends up just going down to Fuji. So two members end up going down trying to steal the Baron, and White Lotus has their eyes on the Nexus.
Yeah, they're definitely looking to take the game. Elyon Gaming was looking to do what they could to stop that Baron, maybe put it in their hands, maybe try to put a little gold in their pockets and get something going there. But now that the Baron minions are going to be running down, they have the inhibs down, they have Ornn pushing down that bot lane now. Fuji actually
goes really low. Is not able to get the damage from the Lucian to take him out, though, so ends up going down to Kairos. And that is going to be game one over to White Lotus. Oh, not quite yet there. We do see a little bit of signs of life
Pick him out.
from Elyon.
Yeah.
They do pick up Fuji here. Smoothie goes down. They do end up taking down the members here. And that will be a 24 and 50-second win for White Lotus with almost a 20k gold lead. So a dominant performance on the side of White Lotus here. It looks like all the members really did what they were supposed to do, pulled together, and just really displayed how dominant they can be.
Yeah, White Lotus definitely, like, we even from the moment they were looking to draft there, they answered Elyon Gaming's composition so well just from even the first 3 picks. Like I said, they had so much initial engage to commit to these fights. They had the Xin Zhao, the Lucian Braun. They just said, we're bringing damage to you immediately. You have to answer it. And the Kindred Taric is just such a strong combination to control the overall length of the fight and sort of artificially pull it out so that you're spending your skills super early. They're not finding the kills they want. They're not finding the picks they want. And then they're forced to fight without those engage skills. And again, the power of having multiple engage options on the side of White Lotus definitely proved powerful for them. You saw so many fights getting started off of a Call of the Forge God, but you also saw Ethereal finding picks in the backline with those Chains of Corruption. You found Fuji threatening the entire team with the power of that Shockwave. And again, that's such a powerful thing when you play compositions like these. You have multiple threats. You have multiple people. You can't just point to one and say, oh, watch for the Ornn ultimate. Once the Ornn ultimate's out of play, we don't have to worry as much. Now you have to watch. You have to watch for somebody to get caught by a Varus Snare, because that Varus Snare will spread to the rest of your team. You have to watch for the Elyon ultimate. It's so layered that you have so many different threats coming out of your team that no one player gets to be the focal point. You have to spread you can't tunnel your vision, and you have to keep your eye on all 5. And White Lotus played that so well across every lane that it really worked out for them.
So it was a very well drafted composition. The execution was also almost perfect there for White Lotus. So we will take a short break here. We will be back in Champ Select in just a few moments. Welcome back to the week one matchup between White Lotus and Elyon Gaming here. We saw White Lotus display extreme dominance in game one here. So what do we think? What adjustments need to be made on the side of Elyon to try to take this to a game three?
So what you want to see on the side of Elyon's draft, and I believe what their idea was looking for in game one, and sort of the interesting thing about their pick bans. Pick bans are where you can have the idea of what your composition wants to look like, and they definitely committed to the sort of, we're engaging on you, we're bringing a lot of damage to you at the very start of a fight, and if you can't answer it, we kill you. But the problem was they didn't really take out those picks that really shut them down. And Kindred, on top of being a very strong sort of general pick as a jungler, very, very strong, they definitely wanted to get rid of that if they were looking to cancel out, not get their damage. They don't want to get their damage canceled out of fights, basically. If they're looking to go for these sort of aggressive, in-your-face compositions, because Hottie Williams looked very comfortable on the Zenza, honestly. Like the overall picks, even Sneaky Smoothie and Lucian Braum didn't look that out of place on their picks. It's just their composition didn't really get to do what they wanted to do because they got so well shut down by the enemy composition. So I think a lot more power they want to bring is in their pick and ban phase if they want to commit to more of their we're going in your face full damage sort of lookout. And if that's what they want to build on, they can. And it looks like that's something they're used to doing. That's something they find a lot of power in. You just have to make a little bit better on your picks and bans. You can't find the sort of typical strong picks to take away. You have to figure out what breaks our comp apart. What are the champions that really hinder our composition that we can remove from play? And Kindred is definitely a very important element to that. And I think that if they don't ban out the Kindred here and White Lotus takes it again, that they're going to have a lot of trouble looking for the same type of we fight you comp that they seem to be used to.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like Elyon is really adjusted in those drafts. There's that Kindred getting taken away. So they do end up changing their third first round ban to take that Kindred after Kairos really showed how strong he can be on that champion. We do see the brand, Shyvana and Nocturne banned away, and Elyon Gaming just instantly locks in this Swain. We saw it banned game one. They said we won it this game.
It was banned by Elyon Gaming game one, I believe. Yeah, they were looking to take it away from the composition of White Lotus, but this time they're going to first pick it, actually, most likely in that mid lane. But I was to say, on top of that, you notice that White Lotus changed their Rakan ban to a Shyvana, so they're immediately going to grab that Rakan Xayah. Most likely, they're going to have that initial synergy in the bot lane. It's so nice to build around a Xayah Rakan competition because Rakan, such a generally strong champion with his power to engage and power to protect. So again, White Lotus is looking to build one of those well-rounded combos, and you see Rakan, he's a threat champion. You have to answer that immediate, the quickness threat that he can bring to the team, the AoE knockup, the AoE charm. So it'll be interesting to see if it'll be especially problematic if we see an Orianna pick again, I will say.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Daydreams is really comfortable on this. He does have the club tag R-Rack. Now, that doesn't mean it's a Rakan one trick or he's a fan of Rakan, but I'm pretty sure he plays a lot of Rakan here. We see the Bard coming out to answer that Xayah Rakan lane. Bard's an interesting champion. We don't see a lot of him in competitive right now. He's typically known for having a very high skill ceiling.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bard. I don't know. Every time I look at Bard and I think about what Bard offers to a team, it's so unique. What he does is so interesting and sort of diverse. He has that sort of damage to be a lane bully. It's not as strong or as heavy as mages like Brand or Vel'Koz or anything, but he has some added utility. He has the ability to sort of lock targets down, give his team a little extra mobility. It's sort of interesting to talk about what Bard really does for a composition and what kind of composition you put Bard in. And adding the Twitch is very interesting as well.
Yeah, so right off the bat, I'm not fully understanding the composition from Elyon here. You have the Swain. He's kind of typically a mid-game, spiking champion. Bard is traditionally an early laning phase strong champion here, but you kind of mash that with the Twitch, and Twitch isn't looking for a laning phase. He wants to get through laning phase, scale up into the late game, and be able to spread his damage across the team here. So kind of some in my opinion, just a little bit of miscommunication maybe, or just not understanding what they're looking for on the side of Elyon here.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'll be interesting to see if the next 2 picks sort of solidify out this composition what they're looking for, because Twitch while not synergizing very well with Bard and I guess with Swain. I mean, Swain gives you the sort of bruiser magey front, sort of mid front line to sort of stand in front of people and say you have to deal with me because I'm life draining you and I'm a very persistent threat. So Twitch kind of has a body to stand behind with Swain. But Twitch himself is a very strong spiking champion and very easy to build a composition around. So you can see the next 2 picks maybe bring something very nice for Elyon Gaming. Of course, there are better picks than Bard. Like I said, Bard's a very diverse champion who sort of does an okay amount of things for several compositions, but I don't believe he's the one you want to pick with Twitch. But it'll be interesting to see what Smoothie wants to do with it.
Yeah, and you see White Lotus pick up that Trundle here. Typically, Trundle's considered probably that top 3 in terms of jungle. They took away the Nocturne. The Kindred's taken away. Trundle is strong here. The Rakan and Xayah in that bot lane, they're going to be looking to try to snowball, and it's going to be interesting to see if Elyon's going to be able to stay safe in that bot lane with that Bard in the Twitch. 2 pretty immobile champions. Against a team that's going to be looking to kill you early and just continue putting pressure on.
Yeah. I don't know if they want to... Shen would be an interesting pick. I would say Graves is a choice. Wait. They're going to go with the Syndra, so it's a top lane Swain.
Yeah, so we have a top lane Swain here. Graves is kind of just like the next strongest available jungler. I don't think he necessarily synergizes with his composition, but he is able to kind of bully out the Trundle if he's able to kite correctly in the jungle. So Graves typically is known to win that matchup if it's head-to-head. We do see the Mundo to complete that front line here for the side of White Lotus Gaming. Syndra in the mid lane versus Lissandra. So once again, you kind of seen that layered engage on the side of White Lotus with the Trundle pillar, the Rakan knockup, the Rakan ultimate, the Xayah ultimate, Lissandra. They just layer on those layers of CC. And on the side of Elyon here, you do have some CC that you can stack, but they're going to really look for Jerd to be able to blow people up in these fights and get them to that late game where Twitch should be able to scale and produce some damage over time.
Yeah, Elyon's composition, it sort of looks a lot like the last. The problem is they don't really have a committed engage here. I mean, you're looking for, at this point, it's problematic because you don't have the sort of ability to just say, hey, we're going to engage on this person, because there's so much beef on the side of White Lotus here. You have Mundo, you have Trundle, who is inherently tanky and can steal the tankiness of somebody else. You have Lissandra, who has the ultimate to protect herself. You have Xayah, who can sort of save herself with the ultimate. And then you have Rakan, who can move from place to place and is most likely going to be engaging on your carries. So it's going to be difficult here for even what you would think maybe the Bard ultimate to try to land for sort of the faraway engage. It's going to be interesting to see what Elyon Gaming is looking to do, because there's so much damage. Again, they're looking for more of we have a lot of damage to bring to the fight. But the interesting thing is Sneaky on the Twitch now. He has the ability to sort of hang back on a fight. And if they can maybe catch something off of a Syndra stun, maybe catch 1 or 2 people off of a Syndra stun, get a Bard stun following up, get sort of Graves being the initiator afterwards, and then a Swain sort of backline. Twitch sort of has a pseudo front line to work with, where you're dealing with so much of what's happened to you off of the Syndra stun, off of the sort of the minor layers of crowd control that Elyon Gaming is bringing. It's just rough because White Lotus has drafted such a frontline heavy team. The Mundo, Trundle, even Lissandra is so hard to get through that I think Ethereal is once again looking to play sort of the far back, not too worried about anybody getting to her. Maybe the Twitch at worst if she's not able to get through these team fights, but it's going to be another rough fight for Elyon Gaming to sort of find their way through the front of White Lotus to try to find those people in the back.
Yeah, and this is a do or die situation on the side of Elyon here. So we're going to have to see if they're able to take this to a game 3. We will take a short break and hear from our sponsors here shortly. While we do that, go ahead and put your predictions in the chat, whether it is White Lotus win or Elyon win, and we will see you guys back on the Rift.
My name is Tim Borseth, and I own and operate Games XP in Decorah, Iowa. Games XP is a geek paradise. We carry everything from Pong and Atari all the way to Xbox One and PS4, and all the games that would go with those consoles as well. We also carry a ton of movies. We have handheld games. We have Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. We have D&D and Pathfinder. We carry Warhammer 40K. We have a vintage Star Wars selection. This place is great. My wife and I have had 6 kids, and they are so much fun to work with here at the store. They run the store as much as I do.
And we now repair cell phones, game consoles, computers, and small electronics.
Our store is instant fun. Not only is there cool music and cool stuff to look at, but we have a game room that is so much fun. It's free to play, and you just plug in your game system and enjoy life. The Game XP motto is bringing joy to people's lives through our products, people, and a place to play. So you have got to come to Decorah, Iowa, and check out Games XP and experience this geek gaming paradise.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are going into Game 2 of White Lotus versus Elyon Gaming here. We do see Elyon is on the blue side this matchup, and White Lotus on the red side. We do see pings come out on the side of White Lotus. It looks like we might have a more traditional start as Elyon goes for the 5-point, matched by the 5-point of White Lotus.
No, I gotta tell you, I don't know much about Bard. 5 movies is gonna go for the recall there. I don't know what Bard starts anymore, but I feel like he starts with items.
5 movie is going to head back to base and grab himself some nice items.
Yeah,
but like yeah, they're gonna go for the combat stance there. They're not looking to have a repeat of that last level one.
Kind of lucky for the side of Elyon there that there is nothing going on, because without the bard, that could have been pretty scary.
Everything looking like it's going to stay pretty standard. We're going to see a little bit of landing. It'll be interesting to see, because it was rough for Sneaky and Smoothie in the last one, because you have that Lucian, Braum, a very strong level 2 composition. They're the typical level 2 rush to go through the minion and sort of engage on that Varus, who has a much weaker sort of level 2 to get pushed in on. But now it'll be interesting to see if Sneaky and Smoothie, now with a slightly weaker level 2, of course, than the Zyra Khan, just the very powerful combination there.
interesting to see if they try to go for that early aggression. If Smoothie's able to find some of those early Q throws to maybe get some damage down on them to make a follow up here.
Yeah, so I don't know what was going on with the bot lane there. Sneaky just didn't really leash the jungler. He came in through one auto attack, but that's going to give Graves a little behind here. And the Trundle started top. He's going for the Scuttle Crab. He is spotted on that ward, though.
They're going to have to move on. We're going to see a little bit of converging going in the jungle. I actually see Kairos going to slip into Hottie Williams' jungle here.
Yeah, and he's in a bad spot here. It looks like Kairos is going to definitely go down. The flash is blown on the side of Elyon, but they're going to turn on the Mundo here, and he has a long way to go. Nice smite on the nice splash from the side of Fresh Burgers to avoid that nether move, or that would have been a dead Mundo there. So First Blood going over to the side of Elyon Gaming.
And there you see it. We talked about it. The level 2 coming off of Sneaky. He took a tower shot there that he maybe didn't want to, but he was looking for that to get it on 4th stack off to go for the expunge, but now it worked a little bit against him.
Yeah, so some good early warding from the side of Elyon. Lets him catch or see that Trundle going for the invade and collapse on him. Daydream's taking a lot of damage, and there's that damage from a Smoothie to kind of finish him off there. Wow. And they now turn their sights on Ethereal. Mr. Fuji is going to go very low as well. He's able to survive that gank too. Another trend you see Hottie Williams sticking to that mid lane in this game as well.
Yeah, let's say we talked about it. Sneaky definitely looking for that early level 2 aggression. Almost baited in the Rakan engage. He didn't have access to both of his spells to get himself out of there. So once he committed to that, and immediately they turned it around, and he was against the wall for Bard to land that very nice Q for them to set up the rest of the Twitch damage. It actually blew him up before Zai was really able to follow up.
Yeah, so some early action in this game. It leads to about a 1k gold lead for the side of Elyon. So we kind of talked about this comp. There's the Bard getting another stun on there and get some damage. But some good early execution from the side of Elyon to give him this early lead.
Yes, it's very nice. We're looking a lot for the sort of not mismatched bot lane of Twitch Bard, but it's again it's so interesting what Bard offers to your composition, and Bard has that ability if he lands enough of those Q stuns, and I mean you can't ignore the damage of Bard just throwing a Q at you, finding a stun, and then the immediate follow-up auto attack. The Traveler's Call passive doing so much damage for the it's very easy for Twitch to follow up. You don't think of Twitch as a very strong early game lady carry, but it's very prevalent if you notice that Twitch if Twitch plays off of a stun, has the ability to throw that cast, get some auto attacks down, suddenly you see somebody with 5 or 6 poison stacks and they go down with a Contaminate, and that is just an incredible amount of burst damage.
Yeah, so they got to be careful with that early damage there. Now they have been able to equalize the CS there, so they really haven't gotten too much of the lead in the bot lane after that kill. We do see them spotting out the Trundle again in the river. It seems like Elyon this game just really knows exactly where Trundle is at all times. They know where Kairos is, and they've been able to take advantage of this early in the game.
Yeah, I say Hottie Williams definitely doing a nice job of keeping tabs on Kairos. It's very important that Hottie Williams does a lot of what he did in the last game on the Xin Zhao. He's looking to make the moves around the map, get some early plays, definitely trying to punish Fuji for a little bit of early aggression. It's very, probably you even see him right now in this lane, his posturing definitely always shows towards that aggression. So it's very important that Hottie Williams looks to shut him down when he can. And it's a lot of their game plan to get Jerd ahead, especially when they have the power of the Cinder combo to try to push somebody out, look for the early ultimates for the kills. So it's a tried and true mid jungle combo to watch for Jerd to get pushed in, look for Fuji to make these plays, and Hottie Williams to be there when it's proper.
Yeah, something to keep an eye on. We do have that early lead for the Swain in the top lane, but once Mundo gets his Spirit Visage, it's going to be very hard to kill. Daydreams goes in for the engage, very low, and Ethereal is able to pick up that kill with that auto through there, and sneaking away, and he is able to survive there. But a nice engage on Daydreams and a nice follow-up from Ethereal to get that kill onto the Bard.
So say you see now they have the power of that knockup, and it's so powerful, the Rakan engage, and you get so much time as Xayah to respond to, and it's really both ways. You see a Bard land a stun as Twitch, and you immediately know to throw cask, start auto attacking, and then you've just dropped an immaculate amount of damage that it's really hard to answer. just the same, you see your Rakan land a knock-up, you can immediately go for that Xayah Q into the auto attacks for the feathers, find the snare.
Hadi Williams has his eye on this bot lane though. A lot of damage. Ethereal is able to get the heal. Here's the Trundle. Kairos hits the pillar as kind of a disengage tool here, and it looks like that's going to be the end of that fight in the bot lane. Nice job on the bot lane of White Lotus to sniff out that gank and try to go around, but Fuji's coming in. He hits, oh my gosh, he blows up Hadi Williams. Nice play by Fuji. Very well played. He goes in, gets the damage off. Freshburger being taken low by Tedious Sky. But man, another very great play from Fuji.
Let's say Fuji absolutely coming around there, finding just enough of his spread damage to not have to spend the ultimate to take out Hadi Williams, which is very important there. So he was able to spend the ultimate after he found the ignite to take out Hadi Williams, found the ultimate on another target, and managed to flash himself out of there before he fell to the tower. And it set up Ethereal perfectly to set up the feather blades. I don't remember what Xayah's Q was called. It came through, and it found the kill there, just barely sniping him out on the edge of his health, and it was very nicely done to put a lot of the power back, right back in White Lotus's hands.
Yeah, so White Lotus is able to overcome that early lead from Elyon. They're now looking at about a 700 gold lead. They take that early good fight bot lane and turn that into a Cloud Drake in their favor. So objective control, as we saw last game from the side of White Lotus, remains the same in this game as well.
Yeah, so it's getting really rough, and it's tough to watch as Bard, and you have to.
Oh my goodness!
No.
Ethereal. At this point, Ethereal is just unloading so much damage, and we talked about this in draft. That this is what they're going to look to do, is look through snowball through this bot lane, and it might be about that time where the Xayah is going to be able to take over this game.
Yeah, I would say it's so rough. Xayah, you talk a lot about the Xayah Rakan composition, the pair, the strength of the pair, but it's so important to know how strong both of these champions are as individuals. And Xayah just spiking off that BF sword pickup, and Bard not really a great defensive, doesn't have really many defensive tools besides the Mystic Path to try to travel through all, but there's so much burst damage coming out of Xayah. She's such a very skill combo oriented AD carry that once she's able to sort of trap you in those feathers, it's very difficult for anybody to really engage, especially a level 4 Bard. And I was just about to talk about it, but we're looking for Fuji here.
Yeah, Jerd hits the stun onto Fuji. The ultimate goes in, a nice by Fuji, and he's going to be able to pick up Jerd, and the trade kill does go over to Graves. That is a shutdown kill, so that does give a lot of gold over to Hadi Williams there, but Fuji, another great play to be able to take that 2v1 and kill Jerd in response.
Yeah, that was definitely, again, nice presence of mind. Fuji was definitely contemplating in the middle of the engage if he wanted to spend the ultimate on Jerd, but he knew he had to deal with the incoming damage from Hadi Williams.
Yeah, Freshburger is going to pop that ultimate. Tedious Sky also popping the ultimate. At this point, it's getting to that point where it's going to be really hard to kill this Mundo. You do a bunch of damage to him. He has that magic resist now, and then he just pulps his ultimate and kind of runs away from it there. We do see some action set up. Hadi Williams is pathing into the bush, trying to set up a lane gank here. But Trundle Kairos is going to be there as well. They're looking for the collapse on the Swain. We're going to see a fight here in the top lane. Tedious Sky, nice never move there. He does not have ultimate, so he's not going to be as tanky here. Neither does Freshburger. We do see flashes come down. Hadi Williams is going to get Freshburger really low. Is he going to be able to finish him off? He is not. We move to the bot lane here, and Sneaky goes down to Ethereal again. Another kill picked up for Ethereal in the bot lane, and all champions live in that top fight too. So a lot of action in the last couple minutes. But ultimately, it ends up in a kill on the side of White Lotus.
Yeah, we get taken back and forth. It was very important. Hadi Williams not having...
Man.
Oh, Fuji!
Fuji! Oh my gosh!
Oh, my
Fuji
lord.
is just going in under these turrets. He is not afraid of the turret shots. And Fuji is making some very good plays. White Lotus is looking very strong in this early game.
The absolute frozen submarine that is Lysandra to just slide into those fights. Comboing it so nice kill.
Yeah, a little bit of an overstay from Freshburger there. They are going to be able to punish it. So Syndra gets that kill. That's where you want some of this gold to go. He's going to be the one that's going to be looking to blow up, especially with that huge deficit in the bot lane now. It's going to be a lot of eyes on Jerd to try to get them back in this game. And here comes the Bard ultimate to lock down Fuji, but I don't think there's any follow-up here. And Fuji actually goes in. He wants this fight, gets the kill on the Smoothie, but does pay with his life to the Twitch here.
He's gonna put a decent amount of money in Sneaky's pocket, so it's not too bad. It even up the curve down to only about a 1400 gold lead on the side, despite the 4 kills up. White Lotus sitting on just a minor here.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Rakan there. You can engage on him, but especially with the Xayah, he has so many ways to get out of there. He can get in, get out pretty quickly, and being with that Xayah just makes it even easier.
I would say definitely the power of that composition, what they're looking for. If they're not able to find these clutch Cinder stuns, and it's going to be that much harder to lock down. And we've talked about it, trying to lock down any member of this White Lotus team is so difficult because you either have somebody that's so inherently tanky, or they have these self-protective spells. They have the Lissandra ultimate, they have the Xayah ultimate, and Rakan, of course, has the ability to just move between allies and sort of get himself out of fights lickety-split. So we're looking for that power spike that White Lotus is looking on the rest of their team to really on the back of Fuji here, as Ethereal has hit his Stormrazor power spike.
Yeah, so there's a huge lead for Ethereal in this bot lane. So they're going to try to have, on the side of Elyon, they're going to have to slow it down and try to let this Twitch catch up somehow. Let him get farmed up. Let him get his Blade of the Rune King. He's going to have to get 3 items, though, before he's really going to be able to make a huge difference in these fights. And White Lotus is just going to be able to pick up this first turret. And looks like they're going to go ahead and try to invade here. But first brick goes over to the side of White Lotus.
You know, so they called me crazy while all of that was happening. We saw Hottie Williams was actually picking up the Rift Herald on the side, so they ended up trading the Rift Herald for that tower.
So good job on Hottie Williams' side there. And the flash comes in from Fuji. He still has his ultimate, though, and that's going to be... Oh, Jerd! Is he going to be able to pull this off? Fuji, the Barn ultimate. Oh, Hottie Williams! Nice ultimate! Goes and takes him out there. So Hottie Williams with a great play there. A little bit of over-aggression on the side of Fuji. He's been doing it all game, but he finally pays the price and overextends there.
Yeah, they Jerd with a very nice initial answer of popping that stopwatch to respond to the appearance of Lysandra before he even had to deal with the ultimate. So Fuji couldn't really set up his combo on his terms to immediately drop that sort of W into ultimate into Q. Very nice on Jerd to go for that stopwatch, sort of put Fuji in an awkward position and not be able to follow completely. Went for the ultimate, didn't really find the follow, and very nice cleanup at the end. Hottie Williams finding the very tip of that collateral damage. Very nice pickup on the side of Elyon Gaming.
Yeah, so you see Hottie Williams is going to be a force to reckon with, too. He might be able to help Elyon get back into this game. They do lose the Mountain Drake there, so aggressive play still from the side of White Lotus. We have the bullying Mundo now, who's now have almost a 40 CS lead on this Swain. So besides this mid lane, the other 2 lanes in this game are starting to get out of control. We do see the Bard coming in here, hits the stun, hits the root here. There is the ultimate popped by Freshburger. Is it going to be enough? We do have the Demonic's Ascent, and Tedious Sky gets the kill on Freshburger. Kind of lulled the Mundo to sleep there, and a nice play from Elyon to pick up that kill.
Yeah, they're trying to find the kills that they can here. They're definitely looking to move around the map, and Hottie Williams definitely putting a lot of presence on the map. But there you saw just the moves from the interesting... after effect of that Bard Twitch and the Twitch sort of appearing sneaky finding the ability to fight, they're going to look for more.
Yeah, Ethereal's doing a lot of damage here. He is going to fall to the Twitch there. So this is exactly what Elyon's looking for. Getting those kills over to the Twitch is huge. They're doing exactly what they need to do right now.
Smoothie found a beautiful Bard stun in the middle of that engage. Actually,
it won him the fight there, for sure. Nice play from Smoothie to really turn that fight. We do see Fuji eyes on the Jerd here, but he is kind of alone at this point. There's the ultimate down here. Fuji going low. We have the teleport coming in for Tedious Sky. Hottie Williams is looking for more, but at the end they just kind of back away and accept that engage was ended.
Yeah, I would say Fuji definitely trying to put as much damage as he can out of these initial fights, and it's hard for Jerd to answer because he doesn't have really the burst damage to kill off.
Oh, Hottie Williams takes a greedy path here. They weren't able to punish it. Here's the bar.
Ooh, 3-man.
There. And there's the stun, 3-man stun for there. A lot of damage coming down. Aetherial is here. Fuji goes down to the ultimate.
There's the Twitch!
Here he goes. Twitch is popping off. He's able to pop that damage throughout the fight there. And a great fight from Elyon Gaming. They're starting to build momentum. So they reset after that fight, looking in on some other objectives here. No objectives really to take here, so they're just going to reset. We're going to push these waves out and try to look in these other 2 outer turrets.
Yeah, absolutely explosive fight coming out of the side, and we talked, and that's what we were talking about, the side of this composition that Elyon Gaming was looking for. They were looking to make the fight. They played off the Cinder Stun. Jard found, well, I'm sorry, they played off the Bard ultimate. Bard found 3 people on that into the Cinder Stun. They were able to layer what crowd control they had because their crowd control comes from so far away, and they had to sort of find the clutch engages they were looking for. So that Bard ultimate landing Smoothie, absolutely beautiful play, and then Sneaky coming in from behind, finding the people that were already low. You actually saw, I believe that was Ethereal, just absolutely get his health bar just blown out of that fight, not able to even respond to the damage. That's what Elyon Gaming was looking for the composition. They're looking to throw their crowd control from so far away that White Lotus isn't able to put the fight on their terms. That's what they've been doing all game, what they've been doing throughout this series. They've been starting fights on their terms with multiple engages. They've been prolonging fights with these sort of self-heals and the death preventions ultimates. They didn't have that here. They just got caught by the Bard ultimate, they layered the crowd control, and they went through with it. And Elyon Gaming demonstrated
another great route from the side of Smoothie, and Kairos down. Sneaky picks up another kill just like that. We have 4 kills over to this Twitch here. A little greedy on the side of White Lotus, and the Bard is actually doing a lot of work in this game. Smoothie is hitting these stuns, hitting these ultimates, and engaging these fights where he really needed to. They really needed that from him.
Yeah, I would say they're definitely looking at. We talked about it. We said, what exactly does Bard offer to your team? I'm looking for more here.
Here goes the grand entrance from the Rakan there, but here's Hottie Williams. A lot of damage there to Ethereal, but they are able to escape with their lives. We do see Fuji kind of sneaking up in this top lane. Is going to be spotted out on this ward here. Syndra's rotating up, so we might see a huge fight in this top lane. Hottie Williams in that push. A lot of damage is coming through. He isn't able to finish off Ethereal, but Smoothie ends up picking the kill. Rakan gets the trade-off there. Daydreams goes down, and another big fight for the side of Elyon. They are taking over this fight.
Hottie Williams is on a rampage right now, slides through the team, actually tried to pick off Daydreams before he could even start the fight. Such a crucial component to the engages of White Lotus, and he tried to remove him from that fight. Smoothie able to find him on the backline through that Q, but it was such a well played fight, a nice turnaround. Hottie Williams absolutely finding the perfect moment to go for that fight, and worked out so well for Elyon Gaming. They're actually going to take a tower off that. They're extending their goal lead to almost 2K now.
And what's happening in these fights is we see they're kind of assassinating Ethereal before he's able to pump out that damage. And it's pretty good on the side of Elyon because that's a huge power point for them right now. And Twitch is going to really start to be able to pump out this damage.
Yeah, he's hit his 2-item power spike. Now we're looking at it again, and it's rough because we're looking at Elyon Gaming to do more of the same. We have to look for more of those Bard engage, and you see what happens when these compositions play so powerful. To here, you see Smoothie hitting these Bard ultimates, Jerd hitting these Cinder stuns, and if they can consistently do that and keep these fights on their terms.
Jerd's a little bit caught out there, but he is able to just knock off the Mundo and walk away here. So it looks like White Lotus might be a little bit flustered here. They're trying to force some fights that aren't really going in their favor right now.
Yeah, let's say they're still pulling ahead in the objective lead. They're looking to take out those inner towers. They're looking to play their game, control their vision a little bit. And it's definitely working out for them. They're still playing their game. They're not looking to make any irrational moves. They're not looking to go for anything too crazy. And we're gonna see some sliding back here.
Yeah, so we do see Elyon Gaming pick up that Mountain Drake in response to that top outer turret going down. So we do have a very even game here. Hottie Williams going on to Kairos here as the gold lead has kind of fizzled out on both ends here. Kairos looking for more, but I don't think he's respecting how much damage Hottie Williams is able to pump out right now, and he's forced to walk away.
Yeah, it's definitely Hottie Williams is definitely looking to that so that very consistent amount of damage output coming from the Grave. So he has that ability to get in the face of basically anyone at this point. He's done a nice job putting himself ahead. He's going to have the Mercury Tread soon. He has the Warrior and the Black Cleaver, so he's a very, very healthy, very, very capable of frontlining against a lot of his champions, because a lot of the champions outside of really the Xayah aren't really burst damage oriented champions. So Graves is able to sort of sustain himself with the True Grit passive. He's able to keep himself relatively alive long enough in these fights to get out some skill rotations, really get out a lot of damage to put it through on White Lotus, so they can't just push him aside and say, okay, we've dealt with you, you're going to get out of our way now. He's a very persistent threat to the side of White Lotus while they're trying to look for these fights that are engaged on their terms. And especially if they get caught up in the Bard stun or they get caught in the Cinder stun or anything, Hottie Williams is immediately able to slide in these fights and provide so much cover fire for the Switch to come through, for the Swain to sort of walk on top of people. It's so important that Hottie Williams has that beefiness in these fights to be a very, very prevalent threat here.
Yeah, now the fight for the Baron Vision is going to start, and Elyon Gaming coming through, clearing out some of these wards from the side of White Lotus here. Next objective on the map is this Baron here. We will see a fight around that pretty soon, I'm pretty sure. Mundo going to the bot lane to go ahead and get that bot lane pushing. He does have his teleport available in just a few seconds, so that will be available. It looks like Elyon's looking for a death brush here.
Oh my lord.
But it looks like White Lotus sniffed that out there.
Yeah, definitely a little bit sus, but there was too much non-action coming out from the side of Elyon Gaming for White Lotus's liking, and they did get death push one or two times before, so it's not going to go in their favor.
Yeah, now White Lotus ends up going in, try to clear out the vision and take it back that vision control. Here comes Tedious Sky popping Demonic Ascension. Maybe a little bit prematurely here. He's not really doing much with that at the moment. So that's going to be a big cooldown over on the side of Elyon Gaming. We might look to see an engage from White Lotus here.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not been extremely pivotal to a lot of the fights. A lot of you see Tedious Sky has a 3-1-1. He's had a lot of success in these fights, but he hasn't. I wouldn't say he's been the linchpin in a lot of these fights. He's been a very persistent presence, but it's not one of their more crucial buttons in these fights. So I don't think White Lotus is looking to make a fight happen on these terms. They're pretty comfortable with extending a little bit of the lead.
Here comes Sneaky, gets down onto the Xayah here. Ethereal's trying to stay alive, picks up the kill with the ultimate. Nice flash on her from the side of Ethereal here, and that's the 80 carry down. Here comes the grand entrance from Daydreams, locks up Tedious Sky. He's able to get away with his life here, so a nice play from Ethereal to get away from that Twitch and finish him off, calling his feathers back, and they're going to look towards Baron.
Yeah, it was Sneaky doing everything he can to try to immediately remove Ethereal from that fight, but it's so rough. It's so rough to get on top of Xayah and keep her down if you're not immediately killing her with just the Twitch power. She gets so much movement speed from the Stormrazor's passive on top of her W, which gives her inherent movement speed when she hits an enemy champion.
Fuji goes in, hits a 3-man stun, puts that damage down onto Jerd, effectively keeping him out of the fight here. Smoothie goes really low. Here comes Hottie Williams, does not get the smite off. Trundle picks up the smite here. Tedious Sky goes in. He's going to get pillared in, and that's going to be a huge loss for Elyon here. They pick up Baron and 2 kills, for White Lotus. Looking for more. Smoothie getting hit by that there. Gets away through the tunnel. Is he going to be able to survive this? Big damage from Jerd. Here comes Fresh Burger chasing him down, hitting the slow. Picks up the kill onto the Bard here. Jerd pops his hourglass to stay alive, and another kill goes over to the side of White Lotus. They turn their attention to the turret.
Yeah, this is rough. They got to run a lot of damage control here. White Lotus definitely found everything they wanted. An absolutely beautiful play coming through. Fuji had so much time between the Zhonya's hourglass, the ultimate, Jerd.
They picked another kill up on the Jerd. Jerd again, not really respecting the range that they can engage from that there. Sneaky is going to try to push them off here, but man, this took a very bad turn for the side of Elyon really quick, and now they're down 8k gold in a matter of a couple of minutes. It just flipped like that.
I would say the absolute turnaround power that White Lotus brought from both a little bit of overconfidence on the side of Sneaky. Even if I don't know. I want to talk about it earlier. Even if he was able to remove Ethereal from that fight, he's so crucial. He had so many kills and was so crucial to the composition of Elyon Gaming that having him go out in front and really even trying to pick off a kill, he was going to get removed from that fight afterwards earlier.
Oh, and the Bard walks up a little bit. This is going to keep him alive for a little bit, but here comes the Grand. Ends up getting the kill over to Fuji, knocks out the Smoothie, and Smoothie just out of position again, gets caught out, and that's going to be another Drake going over to White Lotus, and it seems like Elyon Gaming is just melting down at this point.
Yeah, this is rough. This is the point that you watch in the game. This is the turning point that White Lotus brought to these games. Even when it was looking like things were staying even, once they found that advantage, they just sort of put it in an iron grip. Everything worked out for them, and they were doing what they can to keep it in their favor. And now you see the vision denial coming all around the map, and you see Elyon Gaming on the back pedal here. They're desperate to find vision. They're gonna get pushed out of their entire jungle. Everyone around White Lotus is gonna rotate around and take all the towers and inhibitors that they can to get everything out.
Fuji ends up going into the base of Elyon Gaming, picks up the kill on Hottie Williams here, and Fuji is going massive here. We do see a few kills traded back over to Elyon Gaming. As Daydreams goes down, we're going to continue this fight here. Tedious Sky going low. The members of White Lotus are really low too, but they're going to look here to get the second inhibitor. Ooh. The bot lane of Elyon's going to try to have to hold this game here, and they are looking for a lot in this base. Already one inhibitor down, looking for the second here. They might just try to push for the game here.
Yeah, they definitely have the full force, and it's just a two-member Sneaky's going to disappear.
Fuji.
The absolute knowledge of Lyssandra's skill ranges on Fuji to find those extremely clutch Path of Frost and the setup for the W snare. Just so immaculate out of him in this match.
And this is going to be the 2-0 victory for White Lotus as they move on to 2-0 after week 1. A very strong sight for them. Elyon Gaming does fall to 0-2 this week, so we'll see how they pop off. They hop back off of that. But, you know, what we saw in that game was just once that Baron play went, White Lotus put their pedal on the metal and they just did not let up. They just went right through and was able to steamroll into the end of that game.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was looking so good for Elyon Gaming, and I talked about it. You saw Hottie Williams was definitely putting so much early pressure around the map. He was able to catch Fuji on those early aggression plays, sort of tone him down a bit. He was able to make some plays happen in the top lane, get things going, and then Elyon Gaming hit their stride. They found so many good Bard setups, so many good Syndra stuns. The problem was they just had to, those were their win conditions. They had to consistently keep those Bard stuns, keep those Syndra setups, and once it didn't fall in their favor, once White Lotus was able to get their game played, get an engage coming out from their side that Elyon Gaming couldn't immediately find an answer to, it didn't work out for them, and they eventually couldn't find their composition they couldn't consistently put out those game-winning Bard ultimates, those extremely well-placed Syndra stuns. And once it fell out of their favor, it really was easy for White Lotus to capitalize on it and just keep pushing on to play out their game, and then just take it into an iron grip.
All right, so for that series, who would you give your MVP vote to for the side of White Lotus?
I've got to give it to Fuji.
I'll agree with you there. I do think Fuji performed extremely well in both games. He went so aggressive on that Lysandra, but was able to just take over those games. So let me see if he is available to bring in for an interview. He does have his tag a little bit different here. Let's see. All right, I'm going to bring him in. Hopefully he's ready for this interview. Fuji, are you there?
Hello?
Hello.
I got moved. Hello.
Yes. You were brought
yes,
in here.
Welcome. We brought you in for the interview. You weren't responding to my message, so here you are. But congratulations on a 2-0 week for you guys. It must have felt good to get this started. So, you know, what are you guys' focus been in getting to this point?
Pardon? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. How does it feel to be 2-0 after week 1?
It does. But, personally, I did a lot of mistakes that game.
I was gonna say
Right.
you spent a lot of both games looking for a lot of the early aggression plays where it's very nice you were looking for a lot of opportunities to keep yourself ahead, keep people behind you. Is it sort of the general play style you look for? You look for those very aggressive plays. It was very noticeable in the Oriana games. Oriana, a very typical laner for keeping people at bay, having always that threat of QW combo whenever you want to. Is that just sort of your natural play style to push on that aggression, push to keep the other guys down?
It is. It actually is. That's why. That's basically, if you know how to counter that, you can beat me in lane. But other than that, yes, I'm very aggressive when it comes to laning phase, and that's why I die a lot. Those 6 deaths, it's no joke.
Those 6 deaths might have been all those tower dives. You did like to go from behind and tower dive. Oh,
Those tower dives, yes.
Oh, so it's very interesting to know. It looks like you look very proficient on the Lysandre because you so many times you'd see you set up those Path of Frost, the E's to get into the team, and you'd know exactly how far your W would go to find the proper snares on the right people. You never really had to worry. You saw you instantly appeared off the E into the W stun before anybody else could respond, and it was so nice to see. Is that sort of a comfort champion for you, Lysandre? Not very known for her burst, I guess, but just sort of that initial setup, that aggressive play to say, hey, I know where you are, and I know what my spells will do to you, so here I am.
Yeah, that's you pretty much explain what I do every time. Like that last fight with the Twitch and Bard, I knew Twitch was gonna be there because Bard was trying to go up. So I E'd in, then pressed W, and I saw Twitch come out, and I was just like, wow, great prediction.
Yeah, it was definitely a great performance on your behalf. Both games, the Oriana as well as Lysandre, kind of similar chances there, but you performed really well. Moved your team to 2-0 this season so far. So are there any teams that you look forward to playing or are kind of nervous to play? Who are you looking forward to playing in this next couple weeks?
I'm fairly new with the this league, so I don't really know the people, but I do know that I would want to see Impulse.
Looking forward to play Impulse?
Yeah, it's their AD carry. I was supposed to try out for their team, but I chose White Lotus instead, and that's why that's the only reason I knew about them.
Gotcha. Well, good job tonight. Congratulations on the solid start here. Is there anything you'd like to say before we move on?
No, that's pretty much it. I was not expecting to get interviewed like this.
All good. Well, I'm looking forward to more aggression from you in the next couple weeks. That was definitely very nicely played.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for joining us, Fuji. And that's going to do it today for our coverage of the GXP Championship League here. This is Evolve and has been Skyson on the cast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you next time.
Thanks for watching.